Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the relentless green ocean of the Amazon. Now, you might just think of it as a massive, wild jungle, right? But as we'll see, it's actually so much more than that. It's a highly complex, beautifully intricate biological engine that literally keeps our entire world breathing. Let's get into it. Just take a look at this number, 50 million. That's 50 million years. That is how long this living labyrinth has been tirelessly drawing carbon out of our atmosphere and exhaling oxygen. I mean, think about that. For 50 million years, it's been operating like this unstoppable force, basically sustaining nearly every creature on Earth without a single day off. And I absolutely love this quote because it hits right at the core truth of this extreme environment. You know, we usually associate power with loud noises and brute force, right? But here, we kind of have to completely rethink our idea of strength. True power in the Amazon, it's forged through intense pressure, evolutionary perfection, and just absolute stealth. Down here, survival is a very, very quiet game. To truly grasp this, let's kick things off with Section 1, Biological Engine, Earth's Ultimate Force. Just look at the sheer unfathomable scale we're dealing with here. We're talking about an area spanning over 2 million square miles. To put that in perspective, it shelters literally 1 in every 10 species known to science. It's this unstoppable force of nature that dictates our planet's weather patterns and guards our global carbon vault. It's like every single leaf is a microscopic solar panel, and every single root acts as a lung for the Earth. So let's move down from that massive macro scale and descend right into the dark understory for Section 2, Masters of the Shadows, Forged by Extremes. Down in the shadows, it's a whole different world. Predators here rely completely on an economy of force and absolute silence to survive. I mean, you've got the jaguar ruling the water's edge with literally a skull-crushing bite. Look up, and there's the harpy eagle, wielding talons the size of a grizzly bear's claws, just snatching monkeys right out of thin air. Then you have the solitary cougar, pacing these invisible highways of scent, and the spectacled owl, whose very feathers have been engineered by evolution to deliver pure, deadly silence. But hey, it's not all doom and shadows down there. Sometimes this forest bursts into these vibrant, almost impossible colors. But here's the catch. Even when it does, it's never just for show. In the Amazon, camouflage and sheer brilliance are actually potent weapons. It's an absolutely relentless, high-stakes evolutionary arms race. Survival here means you've got to get wildly creative. Just look at these examples. The toucan's vivid, oversized beak, that actually acts as a highly efficient radiator to cool its body down in that intense, humid heat. Then there's the blue morpho butterfly, which flashes this stunning metallic turquoise. But get this, it doesn't even use pigment. It uses actual physics, microscopic scales that literally bend light. No way, right? And the glass frog, this little guy physically redirects its own blood to turn its skin transparent, totally erasing its shadow just to evade predators. It's unreal. And that perfect adaptation brings us to Section 3, Forest Architects, Precise and Unseen. We're talking about creatures engineering their environment with absolute precision. Now, we usually just think of the sloth as, slow and sleepy, but it's actually a vital engineer in this completely fascinating cycle. Check this out. Once a week, it makes this very deliberate, painstakingly slow crawl down its tree just to go to the bathroom at the base. Why? Because that waste acts as fertilizer for the roots of the exact tree that gives it a home. It essentially maintains this tiny, perfect ecosystem of moss and symbiotic algae right there in its own fur. And you have to see the stark contrast between these two tiny empires warring on the forest floor. On one hand, you have the agonizing, raw, brute force of the bullet ant. It guards its colony with venom so incredibly intense it literally tops the pain index. But on the other hand, you have the leafcutter ant, the ultimate master of design. These little guys build massive agricultural societies that move 12 tons of vegetation every single year, and they don't even eat it. They use it to farm these complex underground fungus gardens. And get this, they even produce natural antibiotics to protect their crops. It is just mind-boggling complexity. Moving beyond the wildlife and the insects, we reach Section 4, Humans and Rivers, Ancient Integration. When we look at this timeline, you can really see the dramatic, sweeping transformation of the Amazon basin. 65 million years ago, it was actually a vast inland sea. Then skip ahead to the pre-Columbian era, and it had transformed into this deeply managed landscape. We're talking raised gardens, radiating roads, and highly sophisticated cities built in perfect harmony with the flooding seasons. And today, well, it's this breathtaking place where river and land just completely dissolve into each other. And if you want to really understand the unrivaled magnitude of the Amazon River itself, just take a look at that first bar right there. It acts as the planet's main artery. It dumps over 29,000 cubic meters of water into the ocean every single second. Let me put that into perspective for you. That is more water volume than the next 7 largest rivers on Earth combined. Just incredible. Now, ancient humans didn't just passively survive in this massive environment, they actively engineered it. They created something called terra preta, which translates to dark earth. It's basically this brilliant, almost forgotten science of creating soil using a mix of charcoal, bone, and organic waste. Not only did it lock carbon safely into the ground, but it remains so incredibly fertile today that modern farmers are still out there actively hunting for these ancient patches. And we actually still see this deep, respectful integration today with indigenous groups like the Huarani people. They navigate these winding rivers and dense forests not as conquerors trying to, tame the wild. Instead, they're active participants in this ongoing dialogue with nature. They literally read the forest through subtle sounds and scents. They view the water as both a map and their direct sustenance. They're just perfectly attuned to the rhythm of the rainfall. Which finally brings us to Section 5, the global pulse, weaving it together. See, this whole massive ecosystem relies so heavily on its caretakers to maintain the balance. Without them, the entire system would just collapse. You've got scavengers like the shockingly colorful king vulture, literally turning death back into life by cleaning the land of decay. And then in the water, you have these gentle giants, like the Amazonian manatee, naturally clearing out aquatic channels so sunlight can pierce through and spark new growth. Literally everyone plays a part. So what does this all mean? Why does this matter to you, sitting at home right now? Well, because this untamed forest is producing our oxygen and absorbing billions of tons of our carbon. But it goes way beyond that. Every single breath of vapor this forest releases up into the air eventually becomes rain somewhere else. It is literally shaping the entire globe's weather systems across continents. It's all connected. The Amazon really isn't just some green spot on a map. It is a collective, breathing entity. And as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this one final provocative thought. The health of this extraordinary forest is, essentially, our planet's memory. It records exactly how well we've learned to live with the very things that sustain us. So, as we look to the future, what will its memory of us ultimately be?